All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a look at something. A lot of people are talking about this Diddy thing, this P Diddy thing, and even the Maffia's giving their advice on the whole thing, and I have to agree with them. But let's listen to this news uh, interview with the Mafia, and I was listening to the other guy, Mr. Francini and Mr. Gravano. They were talking, giving their opinion on it uh, politically. If he walked from this, what kind of message is that saying to the world? I mean, I agree. But let's check this out. This is News Nation.
Case in point, John Gotti. 39 years ago this month, in May of 1986, Gotti was locked up only to walk free after an acquittal, yes, less than a year later. And that acquittal earned Gotti the nickname the Teflon Don. He was on trial for the mob assassination of Gambino crime boss Paul Castellano. It happened outside of New York Steakhouse in December of 1985. The murder made headlines across the country and cleared the way for Gotti to assume control of the Gambino crime family, making him the most powerful mob boss in the USA. And that sway helped him to win his court case, because what the prosecution didn't know was that Gotti somehow made his way onto the jury. He had a man on the inside, juror number 11. His name was George Pape. He sold his vote on the jury for $60,000. Pape had reached out to Sammy the Bull Gravano, who was helping to run the Gotti organization while the boss was locked away. And after almost 6 months of trial, John Gotti walked out of federal court a free man. But feds did not give up. In 1990, Gotti was charged with racketeering again. But this time, it was the feds who had their inside man. That man was Sammy the Bull Gravano, the same underboss who negotiated the deal with juror number 11 back in 1987. Sammy the Bull testified against Gotti and sent Gotti to prison for life without parole. But it came at a cost, because Sammy the Bull had to enter the witness protection program soon after the trial, although he left that program after just 8 months. In 1997, a book called Underboss was written about his life, and Sammy the Bull Gravano joins me live now. I have been waiting to talk to you. Thank you so much for doing this tonight. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There was a few things I'd like to correct the statement. I mean, I was the guy. I rigged the trials for John Gotti. I bribed jurors. That $60,000 fee, I paid him $60,000 in cash and got him a job as a Teamster foreman that he made $75,000 a year. So, and then at the end, when I did cooperate, he got arrested and he pled guilty and admitted to everything I'm saying right now. So that's how we beat the case.
Well, there's a reason,
a couple of times I testified in cases that the RICO law was used, and it's easy to understand when you're using it against the mafia or a cartel or an organization like that, a criminal organization. This is a different form of the RICO, where the organization is where Diddy had his company, he used that as a criminal organization. But it's going to be a little hard to understand for a lot of people because it was confusing. Lawyers were confused about it. I'm a little confused about it. I think they have a clear-cut case without the RICO case. I mean, what this guy did is disgusting. I don't think there's a person alive, a man or a woman, especially women, who are not going to hate this guy. Whatever he did was completely disgusting. It's beyond criminal. I don't even know what it is. I look at it like he disgraced everybody. He disgraced the black race by being a black man. I know a lot of black people and they hate him for it. because it painted a picture towards all of them. I think it's being followed all over the world. If he's not found guilty or he's cut free or he does a short amount of time, I mean, I could only imagine what the whole world would think. This is a disgusting country. So
All right. Now, this is where I agree. We, the people in America, we are really starting to get a bad rap because of stuff like this going on. And this wouldn't happen in no other country. I can tell you that much. They would have beat him half to death if they would have found. Yeah, but it don't happen anywhere else but America. And that is one thing that the mafia, I kind of lean towards them, is they had morals and integrity. They would have handled it a lot different if they knew what Diddy was doing. So let's continue. And this does say a lot to the other countries. They have way too much proof. Way too much sick stuff was being done for him just to walk away because he's got billions. It says a lot to the world. I agree. Let's continue.
there's a lot of things.
Sammy, if you would give me your comparison. I mean, listen, guys in the mob did some terrible, terrible things. The murders were gruesome and violent and painful, and they served a purpose. They were meant to terrify people into staying in line, right? Compare that to the things that you've heard alleged from the witness stand and testimony under oath from a lot of these young women and some of the young men who were his assistants. Compare the guys in the mob to the stuff you're hearing alleged against Diddy.
Honestly, no one wants to think about HIV, but there are things that everyone can do to help prevent it.
If we did that in the mob, we would be killed for it. We would never touch women and children and stuff like that. So that's against our rules, our principles. We would never get away with something like that. There was a guy, Roy DeMeo and Gas Pipe, who became serial killers, killing for no reason, and they were killed. So, I mean, if he was in the mafia, he would, and we knew what he was doing, he would have been killed. There would be no trial.
Interesting. So what if he is convicted? And that is a long way. We're it's a 9-week trial. We're only 2 weeks into it. We're only in the prosecution's case. So obviously it looks bad for Diddy right now. If he's convicted, what would his life in federal lockup be like, given the evidence that we've been hearing about him and the way he treated women?
He's going to be treated.
And if I can say, Diddy created his own crime world. That is why a lot of people in the real crime, like the Moffia and these other clubs and biker whatever, they didn't associate with other criminals, right? Other crime families, other gangs and stuff. Diddy created his own crime world around it. A lot of people knew what was going on, but didn't say anything. It wasn't like the Mafia, right? Where someone went to Don Corleone and said, this a P. Diddy. He's doing very sick of stuff, right? They didn't have he didn't have anyone like that because he created his own crime world. So, if he was in a real syndicate, a real crime connection that had crime connections to other families, other organizations, yada yada, P. Diddy probably would have been killed. I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but once they found out he was into this kid stuff, trafficking and all that stuff, and the things he was doing, drugging people and doing stuff and videos, and they probably would have killed him. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I, they probably would have killed him. So I agree with Mr. Gravano on that. You know, he would have been a dead duck.
Be like a in plain English. I mean, that's what they're going to do with him. They don't like child molesters in prisons. This is very, very similar. Listen, we're all men. We have wives. We have daughters. We have granddaughters. When you hear this, it's going to turn your stomach. So I'm sure women will feel that way, and I'm sure most men will feel that way too. It's one thing to have these sexual parties and do what you want, swingers, but he took that to a whole nother level. I mean, there's women who didn't go along. Some women went along with it. Most of them did. He gave them drugs and stuff like that. They were unconscious. By the time they woke up, they don't even know who did what. This is, I've never seen or heard anything like it in my life.
You know, Diddy's a billionaire. His defense is going to bleed a lot of money out of him, but $1 billion is a lot more. Some have said that money will buy him anything he needs in prison. It will buy him friends. It will buy him protection. It will buy him influence. Do you think that the money can leapfrog the other issues that you just said, that he will be considered, you know, on the lowest rung, given the crimes that we've heard alleged in this trial?
Now, it's true. Money talks in prison. He could buy a little bit of a protection, but they'll use him. Nobody will like him. They'll use him, but some guys are broke in prison, and they'll cater to him a little bit, maybe protect him so that they're getting money. It's going to be hard for him to get money into prison. I don't care if he's got billions or whatever it is. It's still got to come in through the prison system. And they're only going to allow a certain amount of money coming in. They're not going to allow huge amounts of money. And there's warnings, there's people watching these things that go on in prison. So he's not going to just be able to buy everybody in the joint. They'll see that, they'll stop it, they'll put a stop to it. He'll have some use of some money, but not big money. And people will hate him regardless, no matter how much money he has on the outside. Like I said, it's not going to get in that easy. They'll monitor all that.
Well, and again, he's innocent until proven guilty, and we're only 2 weeks into the trial. I have one more question for you that I've been dying to ask you all these years. I know you were living this lifestyle. I know this was your world, but you've been out of it for a long time. And are you 19 murders? I'm trying to remember. Was it 19 murders that you committed?
Yeah. No, I didn't commit 19 murders. I was involved in 19 murders. Sometimes I was the planner. Sometimes I was the shooter. Sometimes I was just, there's different, on a hit, there's a lot of different people, positions that you play. So I didn't kill 19 people. Sounds like I killed them all. I never woke up one morning and wanted to kill somebody. I usually had orders to do it like a soldier would have. And I never, we didn't kill women. We didn't kill children. And I never killed an innocent man. It was somebody who was in the mafia, who took the oath. You live by the oath or you die by the oath. So you break the rules and you die. Now, if you don't have
so no regrets?
Excuse me?
No regrets?
No, that's the rules and that's the life you live by. I was in the military as well, and there was rules. I was taught to kill the enemy. There's no regrets in doing that. You're fighting in a war. This is the same exact thing. If you can't have rules that you got a lot of tough guys in the mafia, whether it's the black mafia, the Italian mafia. Now, if you don't have rules where you die if you break the rules, how do you control them? You lose control of them.
I have been so fascinated. I could talk to you for hours, and I'm going to ask you to come back because I think this trial is going to go on for a while, and I'd really love to hear your perspective as it continues. Sammy the Bull, thanks so much for being on. I really appreciate it.
Well, he's right, I have to say. Well, and I listened to the other mob guys talk about this whole thing. And like I said, the government, I bet you the government misses the old day mafia guys where they had morals and integrity, right? They didn't rape women. They didn't kidnap kids. They didn't do sick stuff. They didn't poison people and, you know, uh, drug them and stuff like that and have these giant orgies and all this crazy stuff and everything. They were raised with morals, right? A lot of mafia guys are ex-military or was trained. Yeah. Or they did have families, right? And they took that, that was something implanted in their heads, right? Their family, their parents and stuff, their grandparents, people worked, people uh, did stuff. But yeah, I agree with them probably. And I imagine like I said, I bet you the government's probably missing the old days of where these mafia bosses and mafia, they had morals. There was rules. They didn't mess with the government. They didn't mess with civilians. Uh, and there was rules. And them days are long gone because it's crazy. And I agree with a lot of these people. If they pardon uh, Diddy, that is going to send a message throughout the world that America's nuts. It's nuts, and I agree. It would be there. I'm not lying. There's a lot of people thinking about it. If all this goes down, what they continue to just it's right in front of our faces, the corruption, the evil. It just keeps going on, and I can see pity. I can see Diddy walking away if he did this one time to one person, whatever, right? Made a mistake, drugged him, had sex, videotaped it, whatever. But we're talking this was every day. It was an everyday thing to not one, to many people. And many people helped them. What does it say about America? I have to agree with these guys, these mafia guys, and say it sends a signal that it's just sunk. There's nothing. It's just it's a monster. America's a monster. That's what it says. I agree. You folks have a good night. Make sure you check out this newscast channel. And there's another one, and they talk to Mr. Francini about the same situation, and he'll tell you the same thing. They just didn't do that kind of stuff. And if P Diddy was associated with them back in the day, the big bosses probably would have said, "Get rid of him." Right? They just don't do that kind of stuff. That's bad business. If word gets around, nobody, hey, one of your family mafia guys is raping and pillaging and doing whatever, and yeah. Now, and people have to remember some of these people, some of these women that he was with were underage when he first met them, and some of these men were underage when he first got his claws into them or whatever. I can now understand why that Justin Bieber dude is so worried or so messed up and everything. You folks have a great night. God bless. I'll be back. I think tonight I'm going to have a fire, chill out. Have a good night.